Welcome back to the Cowboys Society. Real fan, real talk. Now, I know the thumbnail got your attention, but the content will get your subscription. Today, we are talking about whether or not our linebacker room or our cornerback room has more to prove for our Dallas Cowboys in the upcoming season this year, 2026. And you guys know, I'm gonna let you know what I think. And of course, let me know what you think. But before we do, make sure you give me the HBO special. That's the Help a Brother Out special. Give me a like, subscribe, and hype up the video. Without further ado, let's talk about it.
Here we go!
Welcome back to the show, guys. Now, first thing I want to do is take roll call. Let's see who's in our linebacker room, guys. Here we go. Number one, we got Demarion Overshown, Agent Zero. Love this guy. Number two, we got D. Winters, acquisition from the San Francisco 49ers. We got Rashawn Gary. Of course, he came over from the Green Bay Packers to reunite with his ex-teammate, Kenny Clark. We got Maurice Leafau, high motor, busy bee. And then we got Jashawn Gary. We got Jashawn Barham, our newly acquired draft pick out of Michigan. And then we got Donovan Ezaraku. I threw him on there because I don't know if he's gonna play some backer because he plays mostly edge, but he's kind of versatile. But I put him on there. We can talk about it. Now, let me go more in depth with these players. Now, Overshown, we like Overshown. If you don't like Overshown, I don't know why. The only thing against him, he got hurt his freshman campaign before the season even started, guys. I was so elated when I found out that we got him. I'm from Texas. I saw his journey. I saw him ball out at UT. So when we picked him up, I was like, yeah, we need that. We need that. But then he got hurt. I was like, come on, man. Come on, man. Then, of course, we struggled all last season, right? Or his freshman year. We did get to see some glimpses of him, and I liked what I saw last season. As long as this man can stay healthy, he has a huge chance of getting that green dot and running our defense, being the quarterback of our defense. Now, up next is D. Winters. I like him as well. He really got a chance to shine last season due to injuries out there in San Fran. He got put into the green dot position at middle linebacker, and he had a great season, guy. Over 100 tackles. I'm not sure about how many exactly, but he did his thing. I don't know what's going out there in San Francisco, but they are churning out linebackers with Greenlaw, D. Winters, and of course, you guys know who I'm talking about. I can't think of it right now. It'll come to me in a second. Like their main backer. But anyway, who's next? Rashawn Gary from the 49ers, from the Green Bay Packers. Now, the Packers wanted to get rid of him, right? That's not saying he is going to be a failure for us. Sometimes people just need a new scenery, new coaching. They need to move to a team that knows how to utilize them and their talents in the ways that will optimize them on the field. And with our defensive coordinator, I believe that he can see where everybody needs to be and what positions on the field would be best for them. So I'm super eager to see what Gary is going to do. Also to see what Christian Parker is going to do with Gary, of course. Now, Maurice Leafau. Now, I really like this guy. Now, he has a high motor. He flies around. I love his energy, right? And he will hit your ass. He will hit your ass. I love that about him. We need those dogs out there. The only thing about it is I think he's a little bit undersized. And then there's also been some concerns about reading plays, right? And maybe pass coverage. So with that being said, I've also heard that he's having a great year so far in training camp and throughout the offseason, right? But there's still a lot to prove, and he has some good backers, some good talent in front of him. So for him to be able to move up in that depth chart, it's going to be tough. With that being said, I think he honestly will be a great asset for a trade if we're still looking to get, guys like Brooks or, well, I guess everyone else is free agents like Von Miller or Bobby Wagner. But if we could throw him into a trade to sweeten the pot, because, of course, if the Dolphins trade Brooks, they're going to need to fill that position with another backer. And who knows what the Dolphins are going to do? They're a dumpster fire. So they I don't know. Anyway, let's not talk about the trade. We're going to pretend like he's going to stay on this team. Then we got Jayshawn Barham. I like Barham. Bam, bam, Barham. He is a monster, guys. Did y'all see any film on him? Now, I didn't watch him like that at Michigan, but he jumps out on the field, on the film, I should say. He jumps out. He's violent. He wants to play football. He wants to hurt people. He wants to stop the run and kill your quarterback. We need attitude like that on our defense because we haven't had it in a long time. He is definitely going to be one of those guys that will energize the whole defense, the whole team by certain plays, certain hits, certain stops that he will be able to make. Now, he is a rookie, so there may be some growing pains. There may be some acclimation that will be going down, but he has a lot of upside, and I love it. And then you got Izaraku. I think he'll be a rotational piece if he gets in at linebacker. I don't know. I put him on there because he's kind of listed on there as a slash backer slash edge. But it's just going to all depend on what Christian Parker is going to want to do with Ezzy. Now, there's your list of linebackers: Overshawn Winters, Gary Leofau, Bam Bam Barham, and then Donovan Izaraku. Not going to give you my assessment yet. Of course not, because now we got to do roll call for the cornerback room. Now, first up, we got DaRon Bland, the man who has the NFL record for the most pick sixes in a season. Amazing feat. I saw it happen. It was impressive. Of course, when players on our team have a good season, they backdoor that season with injuries or terrible play on the field. We got both, all right? Now, I'm going to chalk that up to injury, coming off a foot injury, broken foot, whatever the case may be inside of that foot. So I'm giving him a chance, benefit of the doubt, right? Because everyone remembers he got completely turned into a pretzel against none other than Marvin Harrison Jr., who is having a terrible couple years in the league. But he got cooked, and several times, honestly, if you want to be honest. But I think DaRon Bland can definitely come back and have a good season. Let me tell you why. You know what? Let me finish the roll call. We got Siobhan Revel, also coming off of the ACL, off of an injury. We got Kobe Durant, over from the Rams. I watched some tape on him. He looks solid. I honestly think he can come in and start if he plays well. And then to round this off, we have Kalen Carson, which fans love. And then we got Josh Butler, which fans love. But I personally think they're going to be depth pieces unless they just showing naked ass in training camp and then in the preseason. And then depth pieces, which I don't know, these guys may round out the roster in the cornerback room or end up being possible practice squad players with Jaquazi Bridges, Reddy Stewart, who had honestly some good plays last year once we just completely depleted at cornerback last year. So he did get some playing time last year. And then Amir Speed, who has yet to be actually evaluated yet. So with that being said, DaRon Bland, he's healthy right now. He's having the fly. He's healthy right now. He's in training camp. We just got pads on today. So I'm curious to see what he can do. And the reason why I was going to say earlier why I think that he may have a good season is because we are going to have a way better defensive line and run stop ability. Now, when you have that as a cornerback, and I can attest to this because I played cornerback, right? When you have good line that put pressure on the quarterback and stop the run, then you can play a little more aggressive. And DaRon Bland is a very, very aggressive, opportunistic cornerback. That's how he got all those interceptions. He kind of plays a little bit like Trayvon Diggs, but in my personal opinion, I think he can cover better than Trayvon Diggs because Diggs was just all or nothing. All or nothing. He's going to get this interception or he's going to give up 6, period. That's it. Moving on to Siobhan Revel. He's coming off an ACL, right? He did play about 5 games last season. Was not the best showing, but he still has some upside in him. I don't know how Christian Parker actually feels about him because he was here, of course, before he got here. And you know how that goes. Either you fit the scheme that the new coaches want or you don't. So we're going to see how he plays. I also have a lot of trust. You may hear me say this several times. I got a lot of trust in CP and in his coaching skills at DC, right? So he will, and he's also, Christian Parker is also a DB coach. So I literally think that our DBs have a great chance, and Siobhan Revel and DaRon Bland may be able to feast working with Christian Parker. And then we got Kobe Durant up next from Los Angeles Rams. He had a pretty good showing. He started all last season, got to the playoffs, had a couple interceptions in the playoffs. So that's not too shabby. That's nothing to sniff at right there, nothing to sneeze at right there. I honestly think he has a really good chance of coming in and starting, honestly. If I had to break down who to start in the 2 cornerbacks, I would put Kobe Durant and DaRon Bland at this point. I've seen some stuff in camp with Siobhan Revel, and of course I'm not there and I don't get to see every rep, every play, but I'm not liking what I'm seeing from Siobhan Revel at this point. He's going to have to definitely start improving what's going on in camp and of course in preseason. Then we got Kendall Carson and Josh Butler. These guys are rounding out the roster, right? These are solid players along with Reddy Stewart. Honestly, I got them down there for depth, but these are fan favorites. People want to see more of them, and they think that they will be able to show what they really can do and do something positive in this league, on this team, if they got the chance. But I just don't think that the chance is there, honestly, on this team just because of the guys ahead of them. When you got DaRon Bland, Siobhan Revel, who we got put a lot of stock in because, of course, he's our draft pick that we haven't been able to see a lot of. And then we got Kobe Durant, who's kind of proven somewhat in this league with what he can do. Now, of course, every position is up for grabs in the offseason, in the preseason, and training camp. So these guys can definitely move up the depth chart, but you got to come in and be flawless, guys. You got to be flawless. And, of course, our depth pieces with Trequazi, Bridges, Reddy Stewart, and Amir Speed. Now, for these 3 guys to get up higher on this depth chart, they are going to have the cornerback gods come in on them and shine a light on them every rep to be able to move up in that depth chart. Or I see a bunch of pond riding and a bunch of maybe practice squad participation on that. If not, just absolute cuts and releases, because we have a huge cornerback room right now as it is. So definitely some of these guys are going to get cut and released. Now, who do I think has to show up more? Who has more to prove? Our linebackers or our cornerbacks? You can pause the video right now and put LB or CB down in the comment section before you hear what I got to say. Go ahead and do it. You paused it, so I didn't have to not speak anymore. But I think our cornerbacks have more to prove than our linebackers. Now, let me break down this analysis. All right. Why cornerbacks have more to prove? 1, DaRon Bland's coming off of an injury. He's coming off of a season where he came back from a foot injury and got straight up turned into a pretzel on the field. Gave up play after play after play and embarrassed himself and had me out at this sports bar doing like this face plant, guys. Like, and I played cornerback. So I know the feeling. I ain't never got done like that. Granted, I ain't make it to the NFL, so I'm not gonna knock on the guy too hard, but I'm here to analyze, guys. I'm a Cowboys fan, so there's that. Also, Siobhan Revel, he didn't have the best showing last year either. when he got in after coming off his ACL. Now, granted, both of these guys, when you're coming off an injury, because I've done it before, I've ripped hamstrings off the bone, separated shoulder, twisted, broken ankles, all that kind of stuff. You got to give yourself some time to get your mind right more than your body, because your mind has to trust your body again. And that can take a lot of time. But you know what's good for that? Off season. So coming back this year, healthy. And I saw an interview with Deron Bland one day after training camp. He's excited. He can move. He's cutting. And he's ready to get out there. He's eating. He's feasting. Also, Rebel, he's doing the same. I saw footage of him working out. He looks so smooth and quick. So I'm super excited to see what both of those guys are going to do. Kobe Durant coming to a new team is always going to be a struggle. I won't say a struggle, but it can be a lot to prove. You got to come in, you got to get used to a new team, new teammates, new city, get your family all moved in, things of that nature. And then you got to also worry about the field, moving up. You got to find out where you're going to be on the depth chart, and you got to figure out whether or not you're going to be able to fit into the scheme. But there's a lot of upside there. All right. Now, I think coming off of injuries and coming to a new team with those top three guys I just named, because I believe those are going to be the top three on the depth chart with Bland, Revel, and Durant. I think the injuries, coming off the injuries, is a big question mark, especially ACL, because you know how the saying goes. Once you hit that once you tear that ACL, MCL, you lose a step. So at cornerback, you don't have any room to be missing steps, because that's the hardest position on the field to play besides quarterback, because you got to guard the most athletic, fastest people on the field, guard them from catching a ball not being thrown to you, all while not knowing the play. Okay, so that's the reason why I think they have more to prove, but they do have an upside with Christian Parker, because he's an incredible defensive mind, and he's also an ex-DB coach out at Philly. Now, linebackers, as long as Overshown, D. Winters, especially Overshown, as long as Overshown can stay healthy, and then we get solid contribution from Winters and, of course, Bam Bam and Rashawn Gary, I think our linebackers are going to be solid. There's still rumblings about trying to get another guy in the like a Von Miller, of course, training for Brooks. And then Bobby Wagner still out there. They're trying to see what's going to go on with him, but that's not going to probably unfold until after camp, things of that nature. I think our linebacker room is solid. At this certain point in time, are they the best? No, I give them maybe a B- at this point. And they honestly, I think they can move up to an A with how Overshown plays and how D. Winters showed out last year. And then you be coaching up Barham and put Rashawn Gary out there if he has a great season with us. I don't think we have to worry about our linebackers. I think our secondary is where we got to worry about, and mostly our cornerbacks, because back in the deep end, where you have Caleb Downs, you have Hooker's coming back. I think he may be solid. I have not been happy with him, honestly, because he's with I don't know. He just hasn't been reliable to me. But then we have Jalen Thompson, though. I think Thompson probably will get the starting role there, and pairing with Caleb Downs. And then we run Dom, rotate some people in. But anyway, there is what I think. Linebackers will be solid. Cornerbacks have the most to prove. With that being said, guys, go ahead and drop down into the comment section right now. Let me know whether or not you think the LBs or the CBs have more to prove, okay? Make sure you give me that HBO special. That's the Help a Brother Out special. Give me a like, guys. Give me a share. Hype the video so I can bring you Dallas Cowboys content each and every single day. Until next time, guys, this is the Cowboys Society. Real fan, real talk every day. Peace.
Here we go.